of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Sports Hub.
Swing and a drive. That's deep left. That is going to be a walk-off winner for Cameron Maybin. Cameron Maybin is hotter than Georgia asphalt.
What a great way to start a road trip, and what a way to make a homecoming of sorts in San Diego. That's where Cameron Maybin played for many a year. Craig Kimbrell and company welcomes Jace Peterson and the Braves to town as Atlanta and San Diego meets in game one of a three-game set tonight here at Petco Park. Hi again, friends. Joe and Chip. Welcome to San Diego, which has been a house of horrors for the Braves. Atlanta's lost 7 straight here at Petco, but hopefully Williams Perez will pitch just as well tonight as he did last time out against the Tampa Bay Rays.
He was outstanding. Even though he got the loss, he got a complete game credit for it because he went 8 innings, but he got beat 2-0, no run support. He was outstanding, the best he has pitched since he came back from the disabled list. And let me remind everybody that just before he went on the disabled list, Williams had won 3 straight games, and he had also picked up a save. He was pitching great baseball, so maybe that outing in Tampa was proof that he's back on track. 8 innings of 4-hit ball.
And a new face will face the Atlanta offense. Colin Ray pitches in his second big league game for the Padres tonight.
Out of Cascade, Iowa. Big, tall, lanky guy, 6'5". He was putting up great numbers in AA and AAA. In fact, combined, he had an ERA below 2. So his first big league outing, a win against the Cincinnati Reds. He'll try to double up on that tonight against Atlanta.
Well, it's a matchup of the Braves and Padres and some familiar faces in new places. Jace Peterson and Cameron Maybin, former Padres, playing great for the Braves. We'll talk about that and more as we return to San Diego right after this.
Right stuff, low price every day.
And we welcome you back to Petco Park, and this is a very familiar area for more than one or two of the members of the Braves traveling party. Hello again, everybody. I'm Andre Aldis. If we say we're hoping that this is the beginning of a fantastic voyage for the Bravos as they need to change their fortunes here at Petco Park, at least their recent history. Of course, the reason they're coming off of a series win against Arizona, I'm getting hammered with sunflower seeds from the Braves dugout, but a couple of reasons they've had success in their last series, and also against a nice walk-off win yesterday, the former Padres, Jace Peterson and Cameron Maybin. Maybin with his first career walk-off homer in the 10th inning yesterday, and Peterson continuing to handle his business with runners in scoring position. They both rake against the National League West, and they talked about going against their old friends tonight.
I made my debut with this team. That'll always be something that sticks with me. And just really going back to I got a lot of friends who I came up with and played together with, and just a lot of the guys I'm still in contact with. So it's good to see those faces and keep in contact, and just looking forward to go against them and compete now.
You know, I expect for it to be fun to run around out here and just kind of, take it all in, man. You know, I had a great 4 years here. I mean, this is an amazing city. The fans were great to me. They embraced me, as if I was a hometown guy. So again, it'll be fun to get out there and kind of, just see how I'm able to all take it in for sure.
So Cameron and Jace both very fired up to kind of take care of their business against their former teammates and former folks. And I want you to know that Ryan LaVarnway is a Southern Californian, a native like me, but just getting no respect from him. Julio Teheran's trying to keep the seeds off me. It's just not happening at all. All right, folks, we're getting ready for baseball. I feel good. Braves feel good. It's time to get a W in the place that's known as America's finest city. Let's get some love in the palm trees, folks. Braves baseball after the break. You're going to enjoy it.
Park, where the weather has been unseasonably warm and humid in this part of Southern California, but still a perfect night for baseball. Some puffy clouds overhead as the Braves and Padres meet in Game 1 of this series tonight. Let's take a look at the Braves starting nine, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Michael Bourne back in the leadoff spot. Cameron Maybin, the former Padre, hits second. Markakis, Przinsky third and fourth. Adonis Garcia, Jace Peterson, Nick Swisher at first. Andrelton Simmons hits eighth. Williams Perez ninth. And we take a look at a very promising young rookie starter for the Padres.
He's 25 years old, as I said earlier, out of Cascade, Iowa, a 12th round pick in 2011. Prior to this season, he was nowhere to be found among their top 30 prospects. But with these numbers at AA and AAA, in particular at San Antonio, where he was 3-2 with a 1.08 ERA, he got everybody's attention, and he's worked his way to the big leagues. 6'5", 200-pounder. Fastball, cutter, curveball, change.
And the Padres' defense tonight. 68 errors for San Diego. It's presented by CPI Security. Upton and Kemp, the outfield corners. Will Venable, a Braves killer in center. Jed Jerko is starting at shortstop for the first time since college 5 years ago. We'll see how that works out as Colin Ray, I should say, ready for his first pitch of the night. And it's a strike, says Laz Diaz, and we are underway. .80 degrees in San Diego tonight. And Michael fouls one away, and he's behind in the count. No balls, 2 strikes.
Ray gave up some hits in his first start. 7 hits in 5 innings, 1 walk. But he got a ton of run support. Won the game 11-6.
So Jack Morris is right. You get 11, you can't lose, right?
Yeah.
Fastball missed at 93 miles an hour. Bourne will try to work the count. He's on a fact-finding mission. The Braves have never seen this young righty. And that just missed. Norris tried to frame it. And the count now, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Michael's due for some breaks. He's been hitting the ball hard. Nothing much to show for it. Maybe you can find some holes here at Petco Park.
Well said. Downstairs, it's 3-2. Perfect at bat for Michael Bourne and the Braves. All he needs is a perfect result with Cameron Maybin waiting on deck. Leadoff walk. That away, Michael. And here comes Cameron Maybin, who got a nice round of applause when his name was announced in the lineup tonight. And Cameron is really swinging it right now. 4 consecutive multi-hit games for the Braves center fielder. His 9th home run of the year yesterday was a walk-off winner in the 10th inning at home against the Diamondbacks. Games like this, I'm sure, Joe, are emotional. Your first time back.
Sure, you want to do well. You want to let people know, who are your fans here, how much they miss you, and remind the Padres of what they lost.
Bourne is running. Norris, with his throw to second, is going to get Michael Bourne. Teams keep running on Norris, and he keeps throwing them out. He has caught 32% of all base stealers this year. And Michael Bourne is the 32nd man he has thrown out.
Pretty good jump by Michael, too, and the ball was a short hop, and yet handled by Jerko. High tag, but it looked like it got him. Usually don't win that when you throw a short hop to second.
So bases empty, 1 out, and a 1-1 count for Cameron. High hopper. Jerko shows some range and a strong arm. Got his man. And there's the second out of the inning. Range, I think, will be the question mark as this night moves forward, because Jerko was thought to not have much of that at second base.
Able to get there and get that one with no problem. Ray comes right over the top, throws downhill, does not give up many home runs. In fact, had only given up 3 home runs in 101 innings this year in the minor leagues.
And now Nick Markakis hits. Nick had a good series in Atlanta against the Padres. 6 hits, 13 at bats in a 4-game series split back at Turner Field. That was June 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. And Nick's good work at the plate lately is our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot, and his work specifically against the Padres.
In his career, 14 games, 351 average. 7 driven in over that stretch. It was 6 for 13 against them in Atlanta in a 4-game series.
Terry Pendleton showed some fancy footwork, got out of the way of that drive, and it's quickly 0-2.
Yeah, whether he's coaching first, playing basketball, you know, doing his drills, his exercise drills on the Stairmaster, he's got quick feet.
He's always ready to answer the call, whether it's hoops or the workout room. The pitch is cut on and missed, and Markakis is down on strikes. Ray with his first strikeout of the night. Braves are done in the first. Here come the Padres at home. Nothing doing for the Braves in the top of the first. Let's see what Williams Perez has in store for us in the first inning. Coming off a great outing against the Tampa Bay Rays. Unfortunately, he lost that game 2-0.
He's pitched great against the NL West. Low ERA, low batting average, good results in 4 starts against the West, so maybe more of the same, and that includes that start, as you said, against San Diego on June 10th. He beat them 4-1, 7 innings, and did not give up an earned run. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight, well, more of the same of what he did down in Tampa. I know the results weren't there, but hopefully more run support tonight. He was aggressive in the zone. He avoided problems in the first inning that have given him trouble in the past. And also the changeup. Just before he got hurt, his changeup was, I think, his best pitch. And it's taken him a while to get the feel for that pitch back. Hopefully it's on tonight.
He's facing a Padres team that's near the bottom in average and near the top in strikeouts. We'll see how it works out in game 1 tonight. And that's taken low by Yangervis Solarte, the leadoff man and third baseman for San Diego. Solarte at 265, a switch hitter, and a 280 batter left-handed. And that one's cracked towards center, but right at Cameron Maybin. There's the first out. Padres enter play today, 56-62 on the season. Solarte leads off. Corey Spangenberg bats second. He wore out the Braves down in Atlanta. Matt Kemp, Justin Upton, Yonder Alonso. All 3 of those men can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Jerko, Norris, Braves killer Venable 8th, and Colin Ray pitches and hits 9th.
This guy runs well, too. You can't mess around and lollipop throws to first on him.
When we saw the Padres in Atlanta, Jerko was in the minor leagues, and this guy was playing every day for them.
shortly thereafter, he went to the disabled list with a knee problem. It cost him almost 40 games. But still, Spangenberg, a very impressive talent at 257. A couple of homers and 11 knocked in. This kid was on his way to play college ball at the University of Miami. Instead, signed a pro contract in 2011. Another chance for Maben. Broke back. Now comes in. And Cameron's got that. 2 outs. Let's check out the Atlanta defense. That too brought to you by CPI Security. 2 center fielders in the outfield for the Braves. Bourne, Maben, and then Nick Markakis in right. Swisher and Garcia, the cornerman on the infield. Simmons and Peterson up the middle, and AJ is back behind the plate. And a big cheer from Matt Kemp, who made some Padre history on Friday. Matt Kemp became the first San Diego hitter in the history of the franchise to hit for the cycle in Padre game number 7,444. Quickly 0-2.
Mark Grant was telling us today, the color analyst for the Padres games and a former Brave, telling us that Tony Gwynn had 21 opportunities to hit for the cycle.
Strike 3, outside corner. Kemp in disbelief is rung up on 3 pitches. And Williams Perez off to a very impressive start. 2 flyouts and a strikeout. And we head to the second inning. The ball came back, did it? Question. Justin Upton leads the Padres with 20 homers and 18 steals this year. Named the only Padre with a 25 homer, 25 stolen base season. You can understand why there would only be one, considering how big the ballparks have been for the Padres at home. Well, Jack Murphy Stadium and the new one here in downtown San Diego. Petco Park.
Yeah, that's what's odd about their pitching staff. They've given up a ton of homers. Their bullpen's given up the most home runs in the National League. As Diaz ringing up some strikes tonight already, too.
AJ at 289 for the year, 7 homers. Bouncing ball towards Solarte. The shift was on and a bad throw, but AJ is out number 1. Nice play by Alonso to come off the bag. one man down.
He didn't have 2 strikes on him, but even with 1 strike, Solarte moved over to his left toward shortstop and was in perfect position to field that one. Otherwise, that might have been trouble.
Adonis Garcia bats. Well, the Padres shift to the other side of the diamond. Not as radical a shift, but Spangenberg's up the middle. Alonso well off the line at first. It's low and outside. Ball 2, 2-1 your count. Two and 2.
His fastball sits 89 to 91. Typically, that was 92. See, Banks shows you that was off the plate, but got the call anyway.
In the air to center. That ball's hammered. Venable back onto the warning track. He's got room. That is a case in point about how tough it is to hit a homer here in San Diego. The heavy marine layer, they call it, might have cost Garcia a few feet on that drive to deep center.
Yeah, especially to that part of the ballpark at deep right center, where we used to be able to see the sandbox. Can't see it anymore.
Yeah, they've made a few improvements to
changes.
Good. You know what? I stand corrected. You're right. Changes to the ball. I'll say improvement the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Big giant scoreboard's an improvement.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you say?
That's outstanding.
I think it's maybe the biggest scoreboard I've seen. The ribbon scoreboards left and right around the concourses here. However, the one change Joe's talking about is really disappointing. You can't see the kids playing in the sandbox out in right center field.
Yeah, they blocked it. Had to put the proverbial advertising there.
And that was the best part of the game sometimes. You see the little kids running around out there.
Yeah, that chain link fence went all the way to the ground. Nice fun area out there, but can't see it anymore.
One ball, 2 strikes. One of the best things about that sandbox was watching the moms and dads come down and pull the kids apart when they get throwing sand at each other's hair all the time.
I asked Jace before the ball game. I said, "Does it feel weird coming back to this ballpark?" And he said, "No, not at all." He said, "You know, I still have friends on this club, and I talk to them quite often." He said, and he held up a shirt that had a big A on it. He said, "This is my team now."
He's had a fine season with the Braves. 5 homers, 49 knocked in, 245 average. Great work with men on base. Brilliant work with the bases loaded. He's done excellent work defensively. And he just took a call, 3rd strike. Big strike zone tonight. Hitters should be on notice. Ray has faced 6 hitters and has gotten them all out with a little help from his catcher, Derek Norris. Inning, and it's time for you now to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag SouthDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by our friends at T-Mobile. Beautiful night, beautiful city, beautiful ballpark. And so far, nothing doing offensively. Both pitchers benefiting from a big strike zone for Las Diaz, the home plate umpire. And we're going to look at Justin Upton, the former Brave, who's hit 20 home runs this year for the Padres, 15 of them here at home. And Perez has a lot of movement on that pitch tonight and got it over for a strike.
He's got his release point again. Ball is moving like crazy.
And Upton goes the other way, a base hit. That's the first hit of the night. Leadoff single to start the San Diego second inning.
Left it up. Might have been a changeup too.
Yonder Alonso, the first baseman for the Padres, at 271. 4 homers, 27 knocked in. Got to keep an eye on Upton, too. He's not afraid to run. He's had a big year on the bases with 18 steals. Strike one. Alonso missed nearly a month with a bad shoulder. His numbers are down a bit. And this ball is hit toward the gap in left center. Maven on the run, not going to get it. It's up over the fence on a bounce. It'll be a ground rule double for Yonder Alonso, and the Padres are in business. Second and third, nobody out. That ball really jumped.
We noticed during batting practice, Chip, that the ball to left field was jumping. There was another change up. Almost like he was looking for it, not fooled. Well carried.
One of those improvements you were talking about might have just saved the Braves a run. They moved the fences in a couple of feet in left field. But Perez has some work to do with Jed Jerko up there. Second and third, nobody out. Brzezinski with a backhanded save, saved the run. 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, he really pulled that fastball, trying to get that same action, but almost threw it away.
Some time in the minor leagues might have done Jed Jerko some good. This man had 24 RBIs in his first 80 games with the Padres. He has 10 RBIs in the last 5 he has played.
Padres bench barking at Las Diaz. They weren't barking in the top half of the inning.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-2.
Nice off-speed pitch there.
Jerko likes to swing the bat. 71 strikeouts, 263 at bats. He's walked just 17 times, so maybe a free swinger will get a strikeout. Not on that pitch. 2-2. is taken low. Full count. Derek Norris is the catcher and waits on deck. Swing and a miss. Jerko went fishing. It wasn't a strike. And Perez has his first out of the inning. And Norris will come to the plate.
Great pitch. Change up. Dive right at the back point of the plate. That's the pitch he's going to need tonight. Big out. Certainly with a base open, no reason not to try it.
Now Norris bats. He's knocked in 8 men in his last 15 games. Change again. Padres have 3 men over 100 strikeouts this year. They've struck out 982 times this year. As we said earlier, pregame show, in that respect, this team is very reminiscent of the 2014 Braves. A lot of power potential, but also a lot of swings and misses. Perez got one of them to get Jerko. Now he's ahead of Norris. No balls at a strike.
They're 14th in the league in strikeouts and 11th in walks. So they're swinging. They're not taking free passes. Yet they've been shut out 16 times. That's the most in the National League. A.J. Brzezinski took that last one and blocked the ball, but he blocked it with the wrong part of him.
Another strike. It's 0-2 quickly. Little dribbler toward third. Garcia with a peg to first is late. A swinging bunt by Norris drives home Justin Upton, and the Padres have taken a 1-0 lead.
What a shame. I mean, he's the catcher too. He doesn't have much foot speed, and he even hit it soft enough that Garcia couldn't get him at first. Great play by Adonis. Good pitch by Williams. Bad result. Wow.
So San Diego strikes first, and here's Will Venable, the 8th place hitter, and a lifetime .306 batter against the Braves. AJ blocked that, and Norris will move up 90 feet. It's a wild pitch. AJ's taking a beating back there in the early innings.
Williams is throwing a sinker. He's throwing a changeup. He's trying to keep it all in the dirt or down low. That was a changeup. Went off the shin guard, then off of Venable. But that's, again, I contend that's his best pitch since coming back from the DL. Got to keep calling it. Got the pitcher on deck.
Venable had 5 more hits against the Braves back in Atlanta. He was 5 for 17 in that series. And he's got a hit to right here. Alonso scores. Norris around third. He's getting waved. The throw from Markakis to the plate is going to be not in time. Norris beat the tag of Brzezinski. And on the throw to the plate, Venable never stopped running. He's at second, and it's a 3-0 Padre game.
Norris might have been tagged right in the nose. Change up. And what's new? Will Venable with a base hit and drive in 2. Short hop. Oh, AJ dropped the ball. I didn't see that. He did tag him right in the face, but the ball came loose.
Yep, didn't see that either. AJ's body blocked us, so good call by Las Diaz. It's 3-0, and here's Colin Ray, the pitcher, who got 11 runs of support in his first start. He's already up 3-0 tonight.
He had him, but didn't hang on to the baseball, and he did get the plate with his hand.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. Three runs on 4 Padre hits.
And a swinging bunt changed the whole inning.
Williams ready for his 20th pitch of this second inning. Two and two.
To the pitcher. Ray did have a hit in his first big league start, so he made some contact, but makes him a better hitter here. 3-2.
And he lost it. Might see a visit from Roger McDowell here as a long inning and a frustrating inning, I'm sure, for Williams Perez. Made some good pitches that up as Padre hits.
Well, he's been working that inside corner to left-handers and trying to get the ball to come back to right-handers, but has not tried anything inside to right-handed hitters yet.
So the top of the order now, Jan Hervis Solarte will fly it out to center. Will hit here in the second inning. 3-0 San Diego. Long inning continues. Fly ball to right. Markakis on the run near the line and in foul ground makes the grab. Tagging at second and moving to third is Venable. Solarte, though, is the second out of the second inning.
The ball went farther than I thought. Of course, it's only 322 to the foul pole down the line. And he was really fooled, but the ball carried.
Two outs for Spangenberg. He flied to deep center in the opening inning. change. Strike one to the former first-round pick by the Padres in 2011. 2011, Spangenberg was the 10th overall choice.
It's all to that glove side. He's working to his glove side of the plate. Inside the lefties.
Ground ball to second. And Peterson, with his momentum carrying him toward the second base bag, wisely flips to Simmons, who covers, and that's the inning. Padres get 3 runs on 4 hits. We're off to the 3rd inning. In the major leagues, you get big leads all the time. He had one last time out against the Reds. He's got a 3-run advantage tonight. Second big league start. There's the bio. 12th round pick out of Indiana State University.
Yeah, he started at Northern Iowa, and then they dropped the program after his freshman year, so he transferred to a junior college in St. Petersburg, Florida, and as a scout that eventually signed him said, you know, I lost track of him. And then all of a sudden he showed up again at Indiana State, and the Padres liked him, took him in the 12th round. They felt like at the time that was a real bonus for them, that he slipped that far.
I had no idea that there were that many talented Major League Baseball players that had come out of Indiana State. Barnes, Zane Smith, Tommy John, and of course the great Larry Bird of NBA fame.
Couldn't hit though.
No, just the jumper. So it's 3-0. Braves up in the 3rd inning. 7-8-9 on the lineup card. Swisher, Simmons, and Williams, Perez are coming up. Colin Ray with a couple of strikeouts. And that missed outside. Ball 1.
Last year, Ray was in Lake Elsinore, their high A club, and he wasn't pitching well. He was wild. He was walking a lot of guys, and they sent him down, sent him back to Fort Wayne, Indiana. And he thought that might be kind of the end of the road, that they were sending him back in A ball, that was getting close to the end. When they said no, couldn't be further from the truth. Just got to keep working on your mechanics, and the scouts generally think that tall, lanky guys like this, they get their mechanics come and go. Well, one guy that really helped him was Bert Hooton, the former Cubs and Dodgers pitcher who's the pitching coach at Fort Wayne, who helped him learn to command his fastball to both sides of the plate. And when that happened, all of a sudden good things started happening. He quit walking as many guys and started having some success, and boy, it has carried over to this year.
Full count pitch coming to Nick Swisher. Now full shift is on for Nick. And he bounced it right back to the mound. And there's the first out of the inning. Rays face the minimum. Here's Andrelton Simmons. Andrelton at 259, 3 homers, 32 knocked in. He too swung the bat well against the Padres back in Atlanta. 5 hits, 4 runs batted in. Those are Andrelton's season numbers. He's batting 8th tonight. And that's taken high. 1 ball, no strikes. They have great acoustics at this ballpark. That and our fine audio folks. You can hear the glove really popping. You're hearing the ball off the bat crisply. You know, Gary Lehman is enjoying painting the visual picture with beautiful San Diego skyline here at Petco. 3-0 count. Now it's full. Bases are empty, 1 out for Simmons. And a bouncing ball through. Jerko couldn't get a glove on it. And Andrelton Simmons has the first Braves hit. Even if Jerko got to it, I don't think he throws Andrelton out.
He would have just saved some grass stains on the ball, that's all. Pretty simple mechanics for Colin Ray now. Right over the top.
Andrelton needs a moment to adjust his equipment at first base. Looks like he's putting on a protective sleeve for his throwing hand.
For his thumb.
Bunts popped into the stands. Foul, strike 1 for Williams Perez.
Does not have a sacrifice thus far.
Williams 2 for 17 at the plate with 7 strikeouts. There's a bunt. And third. Now he's got a sacrifice. Simmons never looked that way. And he's at second with 2 outs.
Solarte just kept drifting in from third base. He didn't make the play, but there was a long gap in there between the time that Solarte headed back to third and the time that Simmons got to second.
Michael Bourne walked to start the night, then was thrown out trying to steal second base. See if he can bring home Simmons with a 2-out hit. And that's in for a strike. Real road droughts working against the Braves in this ballpark tonight. Braves have lost 15 of 17 overall on the road, and they've lost 7 consecutive games here in San Diego. They're in a 3-run hole after 2 tonight.
It's a tough home run park. We've talked about that a lot, but it's a good doubles and triples park. And during the stretch of 10 games where the Braves have gone 1-9 here, they've hit .203.
One and two. First game of a 7-game road trip begins tonight. 2 more in San Diego. Then we're off to Chicago to play the Cubs beginning Thursday night. Roller out towards second. Spangenberg's got it, and he got a fast man by a step, and that'll retire the side. No runs, a hit, a man left. Padres 3, Braves nothing after 2.5. Third coming up. Fans watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widgets, and more every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Freddie Freeman's work tonight with Gwinnett. His final rehab assignment. Couple of hits for Freddie. He's scheduled to fly to San Diego here tomorrow, work out with the team, and he would be eligible to be activated Wednesday afternoon.
Good sign. 2 for 3, 2 walks.
Matt Kemp almost hit with the first pitch of the inning, and now looks away at ball 2. Freddie Freeman will be the traveling man. He was in Columbus, Ohio. He was in Toledo. He'll fly to San Diego for a day and a half and then go with the Braves to Chicago. And it will be great to have him back in the middle of the lineup. Kemp, Upton, and Alonso coming up. And a 4-pitch walk puts Kemp at first base. Only his 30th walk and 451 at bats this year.
But second tonight, and the other one was the pitcher. And it was the same place that he missed to the pitcher. Glove side away to right-handed batter.
Upton singled and scored the first San Diego run. Again, glove side miss, ball one, and AJ out for a visit. Were you surprised, like many were, that Justin Upton was not traded at the deadline?
I was a little surprised, like everyone, that they didn't trade somebody. You know, there were so many guys that they had put out there that were available and really didn't move anyone. So yes, it's Pat Murphy, the new manager, over for Buddy Black. Nothing's really changed, record-wise anyway, and standings-wise.
Padres, of course, made the gigantic splashes in the offseason, adding Upton, adding Matt Kemp, getting Will Myers, who's been hurt virtually all year long, James Shields. And a season of very high expectations has yielded, frankly, higher disappointment.
He may have to try to set up inside and maybe try to hit that spot instead of continuing to throw balls off the plate. That's maybe what AJ's trying to get him to do.
2-0 for Upton.
Still pointing the fastball away, though.
That's bounced foul, and that'll ricochet into the stands. 2 balls and a strike.
That one had a lot more of the plate.
Perez breezed through the first. Saw 8 men come to the plate in the second. He's issued a leadoff walk to Matt Kemp here in the third. And he's gone 3-1. There's a base hit to left. Justin Upton's 2 for 2. Kemp stops at second. And the Padres threaten again with nobody out.
It started out as a game for Williams Perez where he was sharp in the first inning, struck out Kemp looking on 3 pitches to end the first. Turned sour in a hurry when Upton led off the second inning with a single to right on a changeup. And since then, he's been somewhat tentative. He's not challenging the right-handed hitters. He's been behind in counts. Gosh, it looks so promising to start.
So after that 1-2-3 first inning, Williams has faced 10 hitters. 7 of them have reached base. Now Alonso in the box. He doubled the opposite way his first and only time up. Outside to Alonso. First round pick of the Reds in 2008. Padres got him with Edinson Volquez, Brad Boxberger, and Yasmani Grandal for Matt Latos. He's all over the place.
He is. Didn't start out that way.
this is a Padre team that doesn't walk much. Next to last, is dead last in on-base percentage in the league. And Williams Perez, 24 balls, 24 strikes. Hammered to center. Maben back to the warning track, has room. Kemp will tag, and he will move to third base with one out. Alonso hit it a mile, but Maben tracked it down. One down.
And again, he hit it to the wrong part of the park, too. Double play still in order. People are milling around in the Braves bullpen, but I don't think anyone's throwing.
Jerko chased in his first at bat, struck out. He's hit the third most double play balls for the Padres this year. He's bounced into 10 of them. Number 11 would be just what the doctor ordered. Let's see. Swing and a miss. Actually, it's tipped at the plate. 0-1 your count. Line to third, catch there, throw to first, double play. Exactly what Atlanta needed. An unconventional twin killing. Upton wandered too far off the bag, and Perez is out of trouble in the third inning. Thank you very much. Fourth inning, Maben, Markakis, and AJ coming up. Been a 3-0 game. Delta flight crew treats us. There you see them in the middle of your screen. There's Mac, there's Sydney, there's Alma, there's Cheryl and Corliss, and Barb all the way at the end with the hat and the striped vest. Hoping the Braves can come back from a 3-0 deficit tonight after 3 innings of play. Those ladies are really terrific people.
They are. They're just great. So nice. Take great care of us.
So they get a well-earned respite tonight as we see Cameron Maben back in San Diego. He has found a home in Atlanta. As Cameron said, he didn't really enjoy Southern California. No offense to the Padres or their fans. He said, I'm a mountain guy. I like being in the Southeast. And his play on the field certainly has indicated that to be true. And a strike.
all the locals were asking us, you know, what's he done to change his swing, because at least here in San Diego it was a long, slow, loopy swing, and gave him credit, gave Kevin Seitzer credit for shortening it up, and how Cameron saw what Seitzer was doing in spring training and started making those adjustments even before he was traded to Atlanta.
And I'll never forget opening day in Miami. Maben walked in, met with Kevin Seitzer, and Kevin walked up to Freddie Gonzalez, said he's totally caught up, he's on board. I mean, what a luxury that is when you acquire a player and he's already familiar with your game plan. Swing and a drive. That's belted deep left. Welcome back to San Diego, Cameron Maben.
You can enjoy that jog.
A new career high in home runs for Cameron Maben. That's his 10th, and the Braves have scored their first run.
Fastball, quick, short. They wanted a high target. Shouldn't have done that. Great turn on the ball on the second deck. I believe it did. That was a fun jog around the bases for Cameron.
So the Braves down 2 now with Nick Markakis coming up. Nick struck out his first time up. Tail of the tape on the homer, 387 feet.
And again, this guy had given up 3 home runs in 101 2/3 minor league innings this year. But they tried to go upstairs.
That one's popped toward left. And Justin Upton's underneath and makes the play. 1 man down. Tale of Cameron Maben's time here in San Diego. He had 2 years where he played almost the entire season, but the last 2 years were really injury-plagued seasons for him. In 2013, he had a right wrist impingement, a left knee sprain, and then had arthroscopic surgery on his wrist in September of that year. 2014, ruptured his left biceps tendon during spring training, then missed another 25 games for suspension. He was able to play just 95 games and hit .235 last year for the Padres. In 2011, 137 games, .264 mark, 9 homers, 40 RBIs. But we've talked a lot about Cameron maybe being force-fed at the major league level at a very young age. Maybe now all that talent is being harnessed, and with wisdom comes excellence in the field.
Well, he's raw bone strong too, so coupling that with what I'll call filling out, you know, physically, seems to be coming together for him.
Base is empty for AJ. Shift on for him, and he scalds one down the right field line, foul. And the count to the Braves catcher, a ball and 2 strikes.
AJ and Markakis, for a week to 10 days, they were the 2 guys in the lineup you could count on that were carrying the team basically. But that has not been the case the last 4 or 5 games. Markakis 1 for his last 13, AJ 0 for 11.
To the left side. Nice play, Jerko, and the throw in time. AJ's trying to spoil the shift, but Jerko in position to make a diving stop. Good play, 2 outs.
Well, I mean to tell you, they've got that guy positioned perfectly. What happened on his last at bat? Nice play by Jerko.
And that'll bring up Adonis Garcia. For so many years, the great voice of the Padres, Jerry Coleman, used to say after a play like that, hang out a gold star on that one. And the Padres radio crew continues that tradition, and justifiably so. That was a great effort by Jerko. Now Garcia way behind, no balls, 2 strikes. Earlier tonight, Garcia and Las Diaz, the home plate umpire, had a friendly chat between innings. Both of Cuban descent. And Las, not a guy you want to mess with. Remember the United States Marine Corps Reserves. In his younger days. 2-2 pitch. And skips up there. It's now a full count. Jace Peterson would be next. If Garcia could reach, Jace would be the tying run.
See if he gives in here, or if he's got this 2-run lead and not afraid to throw his breaking ball.
Fastball.
Good life on it.
And Garcia missed it. Cameron Maybin led off the 4th with a career-high 10th home run. His homecoming to San Diego personally off to a good start. Braves cut into the lead. Now it's a 3-1 Padre game.
The Padres now up just by 2 runs because of that 10th home run of the season by Cameron Maybin. When I talked to Cameron before the ball game, he told me about his first 2 years here in San Diego and how he was healthy and how he got off to a good start. But as Chip and Joe were telling us a little bit earlier, well, it was the health situation that really affected him as much as anything. But Cameron also said, look, I'm swinging a bat now, so folks are noticing me a lot more right now. I feel good. This is a results-oriented business. But despite my success at the plate, I think our defense and what I do out in the outfield is what I really want to hang my hat on. And Chip, he was also saying that the little mix-up he had with Michael Bourne in left field in Tampa was just a slight growing pain, but he thinks that our outfield can be the best defensive outfield in the National League.
They're 3 good ones, that's for sure, Andre.
So let's see what adjustments Williams Perez makes as he works his 4th inning. Bottom part of the order up for the Padres. This trio of Norris, Venable, and Ray all reached back in the 2nd inning.
I would add on to that, Andre, that they can be better, and they could get better by working on their throwing, especially Cameron and Nick. Their footwork is off, and they could get more on their throws with a little work from the outfield.
Popped up. Simmons at short, drifts out. He will give way to Michael Bourne. And there's the first out. That's an example of the improved outfield defense for Atlanta. Early in the season, you know Simmons would keep backpedaling and would be the man that would make that play more often than not. Now that you have a guy as talented defensively as Michael Bourne, Simmons knows he can peel off because Michael's got his back, quite literally. So that saves a little wear and tear for the shortstop. One out for Will Venable, a 2-run single, his first time up. Now the Braves going to get this guy out.
Change their strategy somehow. The rest of the league knows something. He's a solid player, but what the Braves see of him, he's a perennial all-star.
Seven home runs in 40 career games. That's not too shabby. Up to 30 RBIs now. And another hit. When we saw the Padres in Atlanta, Venable led off the first 3 games of the series. He's batting 8th tonight.
Of course, when you get a fastball belt tied down the middle, you can continue to hit 300.
Perez walked his mound opponent his first time up. That's fouled away. Strike 1.
Garcia trying to take the bunt away from him. Like Solarte was doing to Williams Perez earlier, really charging hard.
No balls, 1 strike. And there's the bunt. It's perfect. Venable to second on the sacrifice. First of those for Ray. And back to the top of the order, and Yangervis Solarte, who's fly to center and right tonight.
Yeah, so far so good for Ray. His major league debut with the Williams team. Won his major league debut. Then you told me that there's a bunch of family and friends here tonight. Got runs to work with. Good bunt.
We were told Colin Ray has 70 friends and family from Iowa in town. for tonight's game. Strike called for Solarte. That's fouled at the plate again.
Brian Woodrum, our producer, just told me that one of the things he saw early today was that Colin Ray, even though today was the day he was going to pitch, was out bunting and hitting with the pitchers. That's a little unusual.
I'm guessing he didn't have much experience doing that in the minor leagues.
Right.
Probably used the DH. But up here, you got to handle the bat. That's taken high. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the former Yankee on Hervis Solarte, who was acquired for Chase Headley last July 22nd. One ball, 2 strikes. Bounce toward the right side. Peterson got there. Great play to take away a hit and a run. Jace Peterson has had a terrific season at second base. A gorgeous play to his left. Ends the Padres' 4th. Guess who's leading off? The man that made that fine play. Top of the 5th inning, 3-1 San Diego has the lead. Colin Ray staked to a 3-run advantage in the 2nd inning. Cameron Maybin hit a solo homer leading off the 4th. And now we'll see if Jace Peterson can get something started. It's one of the new additions to the ballpark.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Chip. Go ahead. I was just going to say it's still a very manageable game. Just got to get some offense going.
Beyond the bullpens, there's a brand new building, and in the daytime you can see it's a beautiful glass facade, but there's a lot of glare off that glass building from the light towers here in San Diego. And so to help the hitters avoid that glare, that San Diego tarp is above the National University sign. Strike 3 outside corner. Peterson's retired. And that's 4 punch outs for Colin Ray. 1 out.
Backdoor breaking ball again. Miles Diaz has had a wide zone tonight for both sides. Yeah, that reflection you were talking about is, I mean, we can see it here because we're almost directly behind home plate. So I can see how that could be a distraction for hitters, even though they're quite a bit lower than us, but being able to see that reflection, they had to put something up to block it.
Well, we got to the ballpark. I said, is that a temporary sign? Are they going to put another scoreboard there? Because it's just so odd to see
a screen.
Right, with just the team logo on it. So those are the kinds of things that nobody can possibly think far enough ahead about when you have a ballpark or all the construction that they've had outside of this place over the last couple of years. There's a shot by Swisher into right field, a clean single. And a tying run comes to the plate here in the Braves' 5th inning. We bring that up because SunTrust Park will be opening in 2017, and they'll be, I believe the Comcast building is going to be a glass-like structure.
Right.
Hopefully there won't be any sightline issues for the hitters when that building is erected. So Swisher aboard in front of Andrelton Simmons. He picked up the first Braves hit, a single into left field. Anytime a hitter has a thumb problem or a hand issue, you wonder how that would affect them at the plate. Doesn't seem to have affected Andrelton all that much.
No, I think he's been swinging the bat real well. 5 for his last 11.
That's cue to the right side. Spangenberg will throw to second for one, and Simmons just did beat the Rapid first. Swisher forced out. Simmons' hustle brings the pitcher to the plate, and Perez will be cleared here in the 5th inning. Williams laid down his first sacrifice back in inning number 3. And that's outside, ball 1. The Mets are idle tonight. The Nationals are idle tonight in the East. This ball's hit towards straightaway center, and Venables got that, and that retires the side. Ray has qualified for the win. Still a long way to go, however. 3-1, San Diego leads it. To the booth, Chip and Joe with you tonight. Let's take a look, partner, at our Toyota Key Play. It's always fun to see what's happening down in the minor leagues, and there are a lot of interesting names to talk about tonight.
Yeah, and a lot of them are former Padres that the Braves collected over the winter time. Max Fried was one of them, a former first-round draft pick. He's still recovering from Tommy John surgery. They're going to keep him shut down for the rest of the year, but he's ready to start throwing at least off flat ground. Dustin Peterson, another guy who came from the Padres, having a decent year, even able to come back from that bus crash for the Carolina team. And Malik Smith is the guy who's really gained some ground. Started in AA, went to AAA, and he's really got his feet under him now. 362 his last 10 games. And that Austin Riley was also part of the deal from the Padres. 9 homers in 45 games at Danville. He started in the Gulf Coast League, and they promoted him. But to do that kind of damage that quickly in the lowest of A-ball ranks, very, very impressive.
Yeah, where guys don't throw many strikes.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy. Really opened some eyes. We'll look forward to seeing those young men progress. Who knows, maybe a couple of them will be here in a couple of weeks when rosters expand September 1st. So Perez back in the ball game. It's a 3-1 score, as Joe mentioned a moment ago, but he could use an easy inning. He has not had but one of those so far tonight. That was the first. He's gotten Spangenberg twice. Once on a fly out, once on a ground out. That's out of play to the left.
The guy that I seem to get the most questions about is Max Fried. Padres certainly knew about him. They knew he was a first-round draft pick, left-handed pitcher, great stuff. And everyone with the Padre organization that I talked to want to know, how's that guy doing? Because I think they worry, even though they knew that he was traded while recovering from Tommy John, that he'll come back and be a real dandy.
The comparable name that I've heard with Max Fried, and fair or not, it's really the only way you can get in your mind's eye an idea of what he might turn into, is Cole Hamels.
Yep.
That's a name we've heard a lot. If that turns out to be the case, that would be wonderful. Two balls, 2 strikes for Corey Spangenberg. Was a little disappointing news in the minor leagues today. Terrell Jenkins was placed on the AAA disabled list for Gwinnett. As this one's cued towards short. Simmons charges, fast man running, and got it. Good play.
Good stretch by Swisher, too.
I'm told that Terrell Jenkins just has a tired arm, has a dead arm period. It's not considered to be anything of great concern. Jason Hirsch at Gwinnett, 2 more innings of scoreless relief work. He is not allowed to run yet at AAA.
They put him in the bullpen, and he's really taken to that.
Matt Kemp bats, takes low. John Gant, one of the youngsters acquired from the Mets in the Kelly Johnson Uribe deal, pitches tomorrow for Mississippi. He's off to a 2-0, 156 start for the Mississippi Braves. Hector Olivera is playing at Rome. It's fouled away at the plate. Touki Toussaint pitches tonight for the Rome Braves. They are at Charleston, or we're at Charleston tonight. We'll try to get a score on that game for you tonight. And it's thought Olivera might be with the big club at some point when we get home from the road trip.
That'd be great.
Driven to right and deep. Markakis will wave goodbye. Matt Kemp, an opposite field homer. Ten RBIs during a 10-game hit streak for Matt Kemp, and the Padres' lead is again 3 runs.
We were told that when he hit for the cycle in Colorado the other day, all of the hits were to center field or right center, and they took that as a great sign for coming success for Matt Kemp. Here he goes to the opposite field for a homer. Seventh home run allowed by Williams.
Only the second to a right-hand batter. Another righty is up there, and Justin Upton. And that missed low and away. Ball 1. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Padres. 1 run, 3 hits for the Braves. Atlanta's left 2. San Diego has stranded 4. 354-foot home run, 364-foot homer for Matt Kemp. And now Perez wild outside again. 2 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, don't get shy by compounding the problem and walking the guy.
One in, one out. Upton up. Alonso next. Matt Kemp. 14 home runs now. And Justin was trying to go back to back. Didn't get it. Don't know if the Padres will try to sign Upton at the end of the year. Don't know if they will be able to sign Upton at the end of the year. They didn't trade him. If they lose him, they'll get a draft pick. Swing and miss. Full count.
Boy, was that a great 3-1 changeup.
Perez missed badly outside and walks Upton. That's his 3rd free pass of the night. And now Yonder Alonso digs in, a left-handed batter. Padres were shut out their last ball game, but still took 2 out of 3 against the Rockies in Denver. First time they won a series in Colorado since 2012. Tonight they go for win number 57.
And that's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Their own division.
That's low. 1 ball, no strikes. Now the Braves bullpen begins to stir. Looks like Andrew McKirahan is playing catch. He might be first man out of the chute tonight.
And again, behind in the count.
Double play ball. Simmons to the bag and showed off the arm. Justin Upton tried to get him, couldn't, and that ends the inning. But Matt Kemp with a solo home run makes it 4-1 San Diego after 5 complete. Take a look at that inning-ending double play a moment ago. Hard slide by Justin Upton, and Simmons took it to the bag himself
and got airborne. He had to get over Justin. He knows Justin well enough to know that he better get up out of the way or risk getting knocked down.
So the top of the order for Atlanta, third time through for Colin Ray. It's Michael Bourne, Cameron Maybin, and Nick Markakis. Bourne has walked and grounded out tonight. He's all forgiven, all forgotten with Andrelton Simmons and Derek Norris back in Atlanta. That play at the plate on the awkward Simmons slide.
Probably is with everybody except Derek Norris, I would guess. Catchers have a long memory.
One ball, one strike.
Couple of good change-ups back to back.
That one skipped up there, and the Padre pen begins to work. Bud Norris, who was released by the Orioles, is now a Padre. Mark Zepchinski is also throwing down there. To the left side, friendly hop for Solarte, and gets one down. Here's Maybin. He's accounted for the lone Atlanta run. .81 pitches for the Padre rookie right-hander. He threw 75 in 5 innings against the Reds. It's taken high, a slider, 2 balls and a strike. That's into left field, a base hit. Cameron Maybin, 2 hits here in San Diego tonight. And once again, the Braves have a chance for a nice inning.
How many multi-hit games is that for him in a row?
5. And 8 times in his last 13 games.
Tried to run that one in on him, and he stayed short enough to turn it into the hole.
Nick Markakis 0 for 2 tonight, 1 hit in his last 13 at bats. You had to figure Ray would have a big advantage over the Braves hitters the first time, maybe time and a half through the order. one major league game and no experience from any Brave against him head to head. Now he's in the lineup a third time through. Let's see if the Braves can take advantage. A little pop down the left field line. Upton gives chase, in trouble and can't get there. Right at the point of the stands. And that fan just flat out dropped it.
Not only that, but I doubt that Chase Peterson or Cameron Maben knew much about Colin Ray because he was in A-ball.
No gold star for that fan. That was a flat out miss.
He was trying to get an assist so nobody saw it. Just toss it over to Justin.
His wife's letting him have it. How could you drop that? Can of corn. 0-2 pitch. Way high. A 91-mile-an-hour fastball.
There are some similarities between what Ray is doing tonight and what we see from Matt Whistler, who's pitching here tomorrow night. Both tall, lanky guys, over the top.
Little roller. Pitcher's got it. Thought about second. Took the sure out at first. Smart play. 2 out. But it's a productive out in that Maben's in scoring position for A.J. Pierzynski.
That was the first high fastball that he's gotten away with tonight.
So Nick is 0 for 3. Pierzynski's 0 for 2. 2 groundouts. One of them a fine play by Jet Jerko in the 4th inning.
And they can't put on quite the shift that they have already tonight because a runner is at second.
That one missed badly. 1 ball, no strikes. All the action in the National League final tonight. Arizona beat Garrett Cole and the Pirates 4-1. Cardinals beat the Giants 2-1. Miami beat Milwaukee 6-2. Here it's 4-1 San Diego. The Braves trying to snap a 7-game losing streak in this ballpark tonight.
Well, I'm sure Arizona went up to Pittsburgh angry about the way they got pitched to over the weekend. Braves did a good job on Arizona for the most part. I know they had 8 runs in that 1 inning, but some of that damage was late. Otherwise, a hot hitting club. The Diamondbacks left town losing 2 out of 3.
One ball, 1 strike. That's an important game in the National League because the Pirates are trying to hold off the Cubs for the top wild card spot.
And they had just come off a sweep of the Mets.
Two-one pitch hammered into center field, a base hit. Venable plays it on a hop. Here comes Maben around third. He will score easily. And a big 2-out RBI hit for A.J. Pierzynski makes it a 2-run game. And once again, the Braves will bring the tying run to the plate.
That's a big hit. That is a clutch 2-out big hit for Atlanta in this ball game to get the home run ball back from Matt Kemp. AJ stayed back on that breaking ball, hit it up the middle, didn't try to pull it. Good pitch, really. Yeah, you can clap. He comes through with a big hit, just like the Braves have done all year, it seems like, with 2 outs.
So Maben has scored both Atlanta runs tonight. And we'll see if that's the end of the line for Colin Ray. It will be. Pat Murphy takes the ball from the young right-hander who's in position to win his 2nd big league start. But he needs some help from the Padre pen. It's a 4-2 game, top of the 6th.
AT&T Uverse, Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
4-2 San Diego. Braves bring the tying run to the plate here in the top of the 6th inning. Joe and Chip with you from Petco Park. Take a look at Bud Norris, who began the year with the Orioles and had a disastrous start for Baltimore after pitching great for them last year.
Yeah, he was awful. 2-9 with a 7.06 ERA, coming off a season with Baltimore where he was 15-8 and a 3.65 ERA, and pitched in the division series against Detroit and was brilliant. 6 1/3 innings of 2-hit shutout ball. None of that has come to pass this year. So a fresh start for him in San Diego.
So for Bud Norris, can't think of a better ballpark transition than the one he gets.
Yeah.
Go from the bandbox of Baltimore to the spacious dimensions of Petco. And San Diego gets a free look at him. The Orioles picking up the rest of Norris's $8.8 million salary.
Good fastball. There was one at 95. He's in the 93 to 95 range with a slider. Already picked up a win in relief for the Padres.
Little Major League history tonight. Our first Norris battery. And a swing and a miss. That ball exploded off the plate, and Garcia couldn't lay off. He's 0 for 3. The Braves pick up a second run, though. It's 4-2 Padres.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Braves fans, as part of this year's celebration of 50 years in Atlanta, we want you to help select the most memorable moment in Atlanta Braves history. Go to Braves.com/A50 today and vote on the current matchup. The worst to first Braves clinch in 91 versus the Necro No-No. Visit Braves.com/A50 to relive your favorite Atlanta Braves moments.
Some lifelong Braves fans there. The Simpson clan.
They have taken over the Western Metal Supply building, haven't they?
In one way or another.
Hi, Gabe. Hi, Meg. This ball game going on. Put your phones down.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Come on.
What's the score?
You're going to have a talk with your children.
From the looks of things, I think Gabe knows the score.
He's no dummy as Jed Jerko leads off. It takes inside. 4-2 San Diego. Jerko has struck out and lined into a double play. And that one's rolled into the Braves dugout, foul. It's 1-2. Didn't know this about Jed Jerko. He's the only rookie in modern Major League history to lead his team in RBIs. That was 2 years ago. They then gave him a long-term contract. Jerko has had some disappointment since.
Yeah, what happens to a guy who's so steady, so successful with something that works, and then all of a sudden the bottom drops out? He's not the first one to enjoy some early success and have to go back to the minor leagues to regroup.
Physically, he looks to me like Dan Uggla. Not a real tall guy, but barrel-chested, big, strong-armed guy. He's got some power.
He can hit. He's proven that. They used to call it the banquet circuit got to him. You know, the chicken dinner, the whatever. And that was usually an application to a guy who put on too much weight. But for Jerko, the talk was that he started reading his press clippings a little too much and maybe didn't work as hard at it as he had before. Things came easily to him for a time, and then found out it can jump back up and bite you at this level.
Full count pitch for the San Diego shortstop, Jed Jerko. And rolled foul. One of the things you've said that's always stuck with me is something young players have trouble learning. It's a lot easier to get here than it is to stay here.
Hard to get here, harder to stay, because of the adjustments that people constantly make on you. And there are those numbers you're talking about. 23 home runs in this half your games in this ballpark.
Out of play, and then factor in 9 games at Dodger Stadium, 9 games at AT&T Park. You're helped by 9 games in Colorado, but still, it's you hit 23 home runs in this division. You're doing something. He's making Perez work to lead off the 6th. And Jerko earned a walk. That was a good at bat.
Yeah, and that's too bad, because if Williams is able to get through this inning, and Freddie's in no hurry to go get him, or is he? I mean, if he could get through this inning and save the bullpen one more inning, it would be big.
9-pitch at bat puts Jerko at first, and here's Derek Norris, the catcher. Game really turned on his infield hit with 2 strikes, 2 on and 1 out in the 2nd inning. Williams made a terrific pitch to him, and he just nubbed it toward third and then beat the play at first base. Venable followed with a 2-run single, and the Padres led by 3. They lead by 2 now, and a strike. Still has good movement on his fastball tonight. Norris took that one and is behind 0-2.
Two double plays turned behind midnight. One on the ground, one a line drive. One more right here would be nice. Got Marksberry ready in the bullpen, and get a double play, maybe bring him in. One way or the other, we'll probably see Marksberry in to pitch to Venable. Let's hope it's after a double play.
Fly ball hit deep toward left. Bourne on the run. Reaches up and makes a great catch. Jerko's got to re-tag. The throw to first is going to double him up. How about that double play?
That's what I was talking about. All you got to do is ask for it. What a catch. What a catch. He kind of disappeared in the signs out there. Took one last check of the wall. Quickly got it to Andrelton. And the relay to Swisher. Routine.
Wow.
Great defense, like Andre was talking about. And what Cameron said, that they feel confident that their defense in the outfield is as good as anybody's right now with Michael Bourne out there.
So Will Venable is 2 for 2 tonight. Perez new life. Bases empty in the 6th inning. Braves have turned 3 double plays in the game. And Perez trying to buy another inning for Freddie Gonzalez and Roger McDowell tonight. And Venable didn't get that. 0-2. Off the facade of the 3rd deck and down below. Nice catch by a fan. Fly ball center. Venable will finally be retired, and the Braves defense saved Williams Perez. A great catch by Michael Bourne turned into a 7-6-3 double play. A key play at the bottom of the San Diego 6th. Play to start a double play in the San Diego 6th. You know his teammates appreciate his great effort. Our Zaxby's indescribably good play.
I thought for a second this ball was going out of the park. I think Norris did too. And at the very least would get it over Michael Bourne's head. He didn't. And then a 7-6-3 double play. Heck of a play.
So that quieted the crowd of 23,716 for the moment. Norris back out there for the Padres. Jace Peterson up for the Braves. Down 2 runs as we head to the 7th inning. Skied foul, out of play. 1-1 the count. Figure this will be the last inning for Bud Norris. He's due first when San Diego hits in the 7th. And that's foul beyond Terry Pendleton. It's 1-2.
We're talking about Jerko's numbers going down to the point that he gets sent down. How about a guy that won, what did I say, 15 or 16 games for the Orioles last year, and he gets released.
In the air to center. Venable will retreat. 1 out. Peterson's 0 for 3. Nick Swisher bats. Nick had a 5th inning single and was forced out.
Aaron Balsley is the pitching coach here for San Diego, highly respected. So I'm sure the thought was, you know what, this guy was a big time winner last year, won a big postseason game for the Orioles. Maybe we can figure out mechanically if there's something that can get him back on track. He's eyeballing him, isn't he?
Question for the Padres, not only who will be on their 25-man roster next year, but who will be their manager. I don't know if Pat Murphy will be asked back. He is the interim manager for the Padres. He was their manager at AAA El Paso. Swing and a miss. One name that I heard today that may get some attention is Jason Varitek.
I hope Jason, if he gets the job, is not ashamed to wear the uniform instead of those windbreakers.
Mike D is the team president of the Padres. He's got some Boston connections. Knows Varitek very well.
Has he been coaching or managing anywhere?
A special assistant, I believe, with the Red Sox. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not positive if Jason's been in uniform with the Red Sox organization.
It was always said that he would make a great manager if he ever decided to do that.
One ball, 2 strikes. And that seems to be a trend. Guys that have not managed before get a shot, especially catchers. Mike Matheny and Brad Ausmus come to mind immediately.
Right.
Dave Roberts has been a longtime assistant here in San Diego. Once Bud Black was relieved of his duties, Roberts managed a couple of games. The Swisher didn't get it. It's down on strikes. Good live fastball got him. And that's out number 2.
Swisher asked Laz Diaz if he swung at a strike. Laz told him no, it was off the plate away. But they had a shift on him for a reason, because Nick was trying to go out around that pitch and pull it.
Andrelton Simmons hits. If he can reach, Joey Trdoslavich would pinch hit. And ground ball to short. Jerko to his left. Good play. Good throw. And 3 up, 3 down sends us to the 7th inning stretch in San Diego, where the Padres lead game 1 late, 4-2. Has decided on the game to this point. It was the San Diego second when they played it 3 of their 4.
Yeah, leadoff single there by Upton, then a double by Alonso. Jerko struck out, but then this swinging bunt by Derek Norris was the difference in the inning. Got a run in, first run in. He reached safely, and then a 2-run single by Venable that was that close. AJ dropped the ball on the tag, but those 3 runs decisive so far.
And Williams Perez will continue on for Atlanta. He'll go to the 7th.
That's great. I mean, I love the fact that Freddie's given him a chance to go back out there. He's thrown, I think, 99 pitches, and he has hung in there.
And he'll face Melvin Upton Jr. to lead things off. Upton at .227 this year, 3 homers, 8 RBIs, 38 strikeouts, and 119 at bats, and 4 for 13 as a pinch hitter. First pitch swing and a high fly toward left center. Michael Bourne is over and under, and Upton is out. 1 down. And that will be the final pitch of the night, thrown by Williams Perez. An even 100, and he'll get a big pat on the back from Freddie Gonzalez. After 8 innings of 2-run ball in Tampa Bay, Perez goes 6 1/3, allowing 4 runs in San Diego tonight.
Security. And 5-Hour Energy Shots. Have you tried great tasting 5-Hour Energy lately?
This really is a great place to watch a Major League Baseball game, isn't it? Downtown San Diego, Petco Park. You got the berm in the outfield where they can watch the game on a high-definition TV screen out beyond the batter's eye. You've got the sandbox. You've got this beautiful baseball facility, new scoreboard, and you got the Braves and Padres in Game 1 here tonight. Matt Marksberry's on to pitch for Atlanta. He's got the top of the order coming up. The Braves will turn Jan Hervis Solarte around and make him hit right-handed.
His 9th appearance. Bounced back after a couple of real rough outings. One against Miami at home, one at Tampa Bay. And against Arizona a couple of days ago, 1 inning, no hits or runs, 1 walk.
A strike to Solarte. Clint Barmas is on deck. He'll bat for Spangenberg. Base is empty, 1 out. 4-2 San Diego. Braves can't give him any more. It's 0-2. But Norris was impressive. 2 strikeouts in his 1 inning and 1/3 of spotless relief. popped up out of play. Williams Perez went 6 1/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks, a couple of strikeouts and a homer. And that just missed for Solarte. 1-2.
Despite the bad second inning and pitching out of trouble in the third and the fourth inning and the home run in the fifth, I'm impressed with what Williams Perez did to stick around. Yeah, he got some double plays turned behind him, and that certainly helped. But he could have folded his tent early.
Isn't that the sign of a quality pitcher? This is one of those 10, 11 games that a pitcher has, says Tom Glavine, where they don't really have good stuff or they don't have good command, and they have to find a way to get something that works.
Yeah, and he exhibited some mental toughness. That's what I like tonight. And you said earlier that he wasn't pitching inside the right-handed hitters. Well, I don't recall any that he did. Maybe a breaking ball that hung up that he got Kemp to move out of the way of. Or, I'm sorry, Justin Upton to move out of the way of. But otherwise, he stayed with his game plan and pitched into the seventh. Now the bullpen's got to hold him right there.
This will be a 1 inning or 1/3 of an inning outing, 2/3 of an inning outing for Marksberry, you figure. Pitcher spots due first in the 8th. And he got Solarte to chase. Good pitch. 2 outs.
Good breaking ball to the switch hitter.
And it will be Barmes with the bases empty. Assume he'll go to short and Jerko will move over to second base, but we'll see about that. Barmes, a former Rocky, hitting .250 for the year. The knees, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. The breaking ball from Marksberry was very impressive. He struck out the only 2 men he was assigned, and it's a perfect 7th for Perez and Matt Marksberry. We go to the 8th. 4-2. San Diego. Padres have made wholesale defensive changes. The Braves will have Pedro Ciriaco come on and pinch hit. Jed Jerko, as we presume, moves from short to second. Clint Barma stays in the game to play shortstop. New center fielder for the Padres is Melvin Upton Jr. He replaces Will Venable. And Joaquin Benoit is on to pitch. He'll bat 8th for the Padres, and he'll try to set things up for Craig Kimbrell for inning number 9.
Good year for him. ERA 2.717. Close to a strikeout per inning. Throws hard. Mid-90s with an excellent changeup and a slider. He was their closer until the day before opening day when they made the deal to get Craig Kimbrell.
So Pedro Ciriaco will lead things off. Let's check out Benoit's lefty-righty splits.
Hitters aren't doing very well from either side, are they?
Taking nothing away from the obvious talent of Craig Kimbrell. Braves fans know that up close and personal. From 2010 to 2014, the San Diego Padres had 271 wins and 9 losses when leading after 8 innings of play, which had many wondering, why do you need Craig Kimbrell? It certainly deepens their bullpen with Benoit slotting down to the 8th inning. But the 9th inning wasn't a problem for them. And Pedro almost got hit. 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, it was a curious deal from the Padres standpoint. And an excellent deal from the Braves standpoint. With all due respect to Craig Kimbrell.
The financial flexibility alone was hugely important for the Braves, but the players they got back as well. And not just the Kimbrell Upton deal, but the Justin Upton trade. Braves really took a lot out of that San Diego farm system.
Yeah, but we're talking about the Kimbrell deal, and that was, I mean, there wasn't really a need from the Padres standpoint when you look at those numbers you just quoted. So the fact that they made a move to improve an area that didn't need all that much improvement was very curious, is the word I'll use, and very good for Atlanta.
There were some who thought maybe that deal was made by the Padres to keep Kimbrell away from the Dodgers.
Right.
Remember, Kenley Jansen was injured at the start of the season. Another good pinch hit at bat for Ciriaco. He's run the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Braves need base runners. Down 2 runs. Swing and a fly ball. That's well hit. Upton back and makes the grab and slammed into the fence. An incredible catch by Justin Upton to save extra bases.
Man, that was a catch and a face plant all in one. Never took his eyes off the ball. Man, what a catch.
That's another feature in this ballpark that we were told before the game. They've lowered that fence.
Yeah, by a foot. That might have had a chance to get out.
So Upton might have just saved a run. Top of the order now, Michael Bourne. One away in the 8th. We've seen some great defensive plays from both clubs tonight. Michael Bourne made a great catch and started a double play. Was a little late. No balls, 2 strikes. And Michael's down swinging, 2 outs. Peter Moylan's getting ready to pitch. He'll go to work in the 8th. Here's Maben. A great night for Cameron in his return to San Diego. 2 hits, 2 runs, including a 4th inning home run. His 10th of the year and a new career high. Low outside, ball 1.
It was an 88-mile-an-hour slider.
Right-hand hitters 7 for 64 against Benoit this year, including Siriaco's fly out to left. Wow. Paints the corner. 1-2.
PNC Bank box track shows it shaved an edge that's been given as a strike all night.
Swinging bunt. Benoit with a bare hand. Throws a strike to first. And that will end the inning. 3 up, 3 down for the Padres setup man. It's 4-2 San Diego. Great catch by Justin Upton. Saved the run. Hunt will perform after the game Thursday, October 1st for a free post-game concert. That's brought to you by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. Tickets will go quickly. Get them now at Braves.com/Sam Hunt. We head to the home eighth. Padres 4, Braves 2. Third pitcher of the night is loosening up, and that's our buddy Peter Moylan.
Yesterday, first major league appearance in almost 2 years. Retired both batters he faced. And one of the things that really prevented him from getting perhaps to the big league sooner was that they wanted to see if he could pitch on consecutive days. Health-wise, if his arm would hold up where he could pitch 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row. And once he proved that, here he is. It'll be his second day in a row here this evening.
So Matt Kemp will greet him first. Kemp hit a long home run in the 5th inning, an opposite field shot that scored the 4th and final San Diego run. He's a single, double, and triple away from the cycle. So the Padres got one milestone out of the way. They got the cycle taken care of. They still don't have a no-hitter, though, thrown by a member of their staff. They've had some great pitchers in this franchise's history.
And they've had some Cy Young awards. Randy Jones, Gaylord Perry, Jake Peavy come to mind.
One ball, one strike. Moylan versus Kemp in the 8th.
Oh, what was that?
That slicing foul, and it's 2-2. As you'd expect, Craig Kimbrell getting ready for the 9th. Craig has had a great year for the Padres. 33 saves. He's pitched in 48 games. A base hit by Kemp to left. He's been on base 3 times now. A walk, a homer, and a single. And the leadoff man on for San Diego.
Hanging breaking ball, it looked like. Yep.
Maben's had a happy homecoming for Atlanta. Justin Upton's had a great night against his former team. Perfect evening at the plate and a marvelous catch in left. Ball 1.
One of the things I'm sure Freddie Gonzalez is hoping to get from Peter Moylan are ground balls in situations where the team needs to get out of an inning, get a double play ball, limit damage.
Another right-hander has joined Kimbrell in the Padres pen. As Moylan's ready for his 1-0 pitch. That was perfect. Even count. One of the plans for the Padres when they revamped their roster was to improve on what was the worst offense in the National League last year. The Padres scored the fewest runs of any team in our league. They brought in Upton, they brought in Kemp, and they brought in Will Myers. Well, Myers hurt his wrist and has been lost for virtually the entire season for the Padres. Kemp and Upton, though, have had kind of up and down years, and they really haven't been up at the same time from an offensive standpoint, which has been rather frustrating. It's been a streaky team. Joe mentioned they had a terrific run. 8-12, something like that, 12 or 15, and they'll go out and lose 6 of 8. Just not really been able to sustain any kind of good play for long periods of time. However, you look at the numbers of Kemp and Upton, Joe, they are very good offensive producers.
Yeah, they have been. Justin's batting average a little off from what it was with Atlanta. Kemp's average down a little bit, but each closing in on 70 RBIs.
Three balls, 2 strikes.
Good throw might have gotten him. Caught Kemp a little flat-footed because he was going to go on the 3-2 pitch.
Ground ball toward Peterson. Flip to second in time. What a play by Peterson and Simmons. Andrelton came flying out of nowhere. I didn't think he had a chance to get to the bag ahead of Kemp.
Well, what I love about this is that Jace Peterson has learned never to give up on Andrelton Simmons, that you still have a chance to get a double play no matter what the situation. He was going over to cover. And what a great toss and cover from the middle infielders. That was beautiful.
4 double plays turned in by the Atlanta defense. There's that ground ball from Peter Moylan you were talking about. It turns into 2 outs. And Yonder Alonso, the hitter. And that's poked foul, strike 1.
But as fast as Andrelton was having to get there to cover, it had to be a perfect backhand toss so they didn't have to break stride, didn't have to jump around.
April and May, I don't think Peterson makes that play.
Maybe not. Maybe not. But I'm just glad that he didn't concede that and just get the easy out at first, because with Andrelton, you just never know.
No balls at a strike. And that missed to Alonso.
And we get to watch Andrelton Simmons play every night. What a treat.
Out of play left side, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
All you need to know about Jace Peterson, if you were watching yesterday when that blue pit dropped in to end the no-hit bid by Shelby Miller. It dropped in between Markakis and Jace wasn't within 10 or 15 feet of that ball when it dropped, but he's still diving for it. He's trying to make every effort he could to catch it. Mad that he didn't.
Swing and a drive deep right field, and that's a backbreaker. First row of seats above the scoreboard in right, and Yonder Alonso makes it a 5-2 game.
upstairs. Couldn't get that sinker down.
So 5 home runs for the Padres first baseman. He's got 2 extra base hits tonight. San Diego 5 runs on 9 hits. Now a 3-run lead for Kimbrel. And Jerko fouled it straight back. Braves have now allowed 24 home runs in their last 18 games on the road, where they've dropped 15 of their previous 17 affairs. Fly ball center. Plenty of room, however, for Cameron Maybin, and that'll send us to inning number 9. 1 run, 2 hits for the Padres in the 8th. Craig Kimbrel to face his mates with a 3-run lead. Appearance for the Padres. He's going to try to shut the door in the 9th inning. Same music, same flames in the letters, and probably the same fastball curveball combo for Craig Kimbrel, who's been brilliant for the Padres this year. He's blown only 2 saves in 35 tries.
Yeah, he's been Craig Kimbrel for them. 63 strikeouts in 46 innings and a 187 average against. He's been the same guy that we all knew in Atlanta. The Braves leading off innings, trying to get rallies started, which they need to do tonight. Not very good. Only the Padres have a worse average leading off innings at 274. The Braves 276. National League average at 302. So what you're looking at there is the bottom, San Diego, and then working your way up.
Braves had 1 leadoff hit tonight. That was Maybin's homer in the 4th. Now Kimbrel versus Markakis. Craig did face the Braves back in Atlanta. He picked up his 15th save on June the 11th. It was a 1-2-3 11th inning for the Padres. Strike 1. Markakis, Przinski, and Adonis Garcia. The Braves need 3 to tie in the 9th. One ball, 1 strike. That's up and away. First glance, you'd say, well, for Kimbrel, it's got to be tough facing your former team. Well, in a way, that's probably true. But there's so many new faces that this might be just like any other club.
Yeah, it's not a lot of locker mates.
And Markakis serves one the other way. A leadoff hit.
There we go. That'll improve that leadoff average.
One on for A.J. Pierzynski. Fans, secure your seats for opening day in 2016 exclusively through the 2016 opening day 4-game plan. It comes with tickets to opening day next year, along with 3 great weekend matchups this season against the Yankees, Mets, and the Cardinals. It's a limited time offer. Get your 2016 opening day 4-game plan at Braves.com today. A.J. Pierzynski has an RBI hit. That came last time up in the 6th. Kimbrel struck him out on June the 11th. And ball 1. Mark Melanson has 37 saves. Trevor Rosenthal of the Cardinals has 36. Those are the only 2 major league closers with more saves than Kimbrel's 33.
Need one more base runner. In the past, if you watch Craig Kimbrel pitch, if he was having trouble with his breaking ball in command, it usually meant he was pitching behind in the count. And that hitters would just eliminate that and just try to time the fastball.
Just like that, he's gone 3-0. And a 4-pitch walk will bring the tying run to the plate.
That home run really did damage, didn't it?
Yep. But we've seen it so many times this year. The Braves have an uncanny ability as a club to give their opponents a finish. They're doing the same thing tonight. 2 on, nobody out. A good fastball hitter up in Garcia.
Here's what Chip was talking about earlier. This season, leading after 8, they're a perfect 45-0. But they weren't having any troubles to speak of for the last 4 years before that. But they went ahead and made the deal for Kimbrel. And they've improved it by going undefeated.
That hard
I think that might be the first breaking ball he's thrown for a strike.
An 86-mile-an-hour curveball. No balls and a strike for Garcia. What a stop.
My.
What a stop.
That's throwing your glove out there and hoping the ball finds it. And it did.
Out of play. Garcia hanging tough. Down 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That was a fastball he was able to get a piece of and foul off. What he's going to have to deal with here is another slider that may be a little off the plate, but he's got to decide if it's going to be a strike or not. It was a breaking ball, but it was in.
With every passing pitch, you figure Garcia's got a better idea of what Kimbrel has to offer. He's still behind, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good at bat. Great to see Garcia reach. Then you got Peterson potentially with the bases loaded. We know how good Jace is in that situation.
What's always set Craig apart, though, from other closers that were throwing in the upper 90s was that hard breaking ball. Whether it's a slider or a curve, depending on who you ask, including Craig. When he's able to throw that pitch to the outer part of the plate or a little bit off, that's what separates him.
And then you come back with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that's buzzing inside on the hands. There's out number 1. And Jace Peterson's the batter.
But that was not where he wanted it. Target was down and away, and it was up and in, so he's still having trouble throwing the ball where he wants it this inning.
Jace Peterson hitting .313 this year with men on base. He's got 2 on, and he represents the tying run. Craig's not sharp tonight. See if Atlanta can take advantage. 8 balls, 8 strikes.
For a young hitter like Jace, these situations, especially coming back to San Diego, you get kind of caught up in the emotion of the 9th inning, and against Craig Kimbrel, who's throwing hard, makes you want to swing hard. And that's the last thing he needs to do. He needs to kind of slow it down, see it, and react to it.
Like that. Base hit up the middle. Here comes Markakis around third. He's going to score. The Braves have made it a 2-run game on an RBI hit by Jace Peterson off Craig Kimbrel. And now the tying runs are aboard. The go-ahead run comes to the plate with only 1 out in the 9th.
Great job by Jace. Fastball right back where it came from. Out of third, didn't try to pull it. And again, he comes through. He's been so good with men in scoring position, and that's his 50th RBI.
That snaps Kimbrel's 5 innings and 1/3 scoreless streak. And now Swisher is the hitter. Nick hit his first homer as a Brave the other day. Boy, a long one here down the right field line would be a thing of beauty. It's only 322 feet to the foul pole.
Nick asked Laz Diaz last time up if he chased a bad ball and was told yes, it was outside. And he's got to try his best to lay off anything out there, especially this early in the count, and just look for something middle to middle in, which is his wheelhouse, especially anything down.
Got a catcher running at second. Peterson's at first. 1 ball, no strikes. Edwin Jackson and Arodys Vizcaino begin to warm up in the Braves bullpen.
Still in the catbird seat if you're Nick Swisher. Look for your pitch. Didn't like the call, but not a pitch that he was going to be able to do with what he would like to do with, and that is drive it somewhere. So Kimbrel made a good pitch.
Now the count's even. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Jackson if they tie it up, Vizcaino if they take the lead.
Andrelton Simmons waits on deck. 2 singles and a walk have plated a 9th inning Braves run against Craig Kimbrel. Way high.
He's thrown one that Norris was lucky to backhand a breaking ball when Garcia was up there, and this one almost sailed over everybody's head. That also, I think, was supposed to be a breaking ball and wasn't doing anything but take it off. So 3-2. Nick's got to be sitting on fastball and hope to get one.
He got one and it swung and missed. So Kimbrel has his 2nd strikeout, and it's up to Simmons to keep the game alive.
And that's that pitch away. It was way too close to take. Had a big swing at it. Couldn't reach it.
Big hole right side of the infield for Simmons. As the big crowd on its feet for Craig Kimbrel. Norris, a nice stop. Ball 1. If Andrelton could reach, Joey Turdoslavich would pinch hit.
Good speed at first. That's the run that matters. Andrelton can get one down the line or in the gap. Good chance for Jace to score.
Fly ball right. Playable for Kemp. And Kimbrel hangs on to save it for San Diego. 5-3 the final. The Padres hand the Braves their 8th consecutive loss at Petco Park. And that's how the road trip starts here in Southern California. Padres 5, Atlanta 3. We'll talk about it with you from San Diego after this quick timeout.